Hello students, we will be studying today about the various parameters that is required for bacterial growth. In the previous class we studied the nutrients, what are the different nutrients that is required for bacteria, how we can classify the organisms based on their different nutritional their needs. We had studied that. So if we give only nutrition, is it enough? No, definitely not. We need to give or satisfy their different parameters, physical parameters, in order that they grow properly. They have certain physical parameters. So let us see what are those parameters. So basically physical, the requirements, you see, it's nutrition and there are certain physical parameters. What are the physical factors? There is temperature, there is oxygen requirement, there is pH. Apart from that, there is osmotic pressure also. Currently we have these three things for you to study in the syllabus. So let us see each one in detail. The first one, temperature is very important for the growth of microorganisms. Okay, if the temperature is higher, the proteins could get deactivated, they could get denatured. If the temperature becomes lower, the cytoplasm or the cells could get frozen, the activity could be stagnated. Okay, they could it could get stopped. So these are the it could become static. So these are the things. It should not be higher than what is required, lower than what is required. Okay, now there is something called as, when you talk about temperature, there is something called as cardinal temperature. When you talk about temperature, there is something called as cardinal temperature. Now what do you mean by cardinal temperature? Every organism has a minimum, maximum and optimum temperature. Now what do you mean by this? Now all these three temperatures put together is called as cardinal temperatures. Every organism has one minimum temperature till where they will grow, below which the organisms cannot grow. Okay, till the minimum temperature the organisms will grow. They may not die or they may not be actively growing, but then still they are alive. That's minimum temperature. Below, if I decrease the temperature, then definitely they will not survive. Optimum temperature is the best temperature wherein they grow very well. The activity is maximum at this particular temperature, so that is optimum temperature. What is maximum? If I say optimum, the organisms are growing very well at their best. Maximum also, the highest temperature up to which they will survive. Above the maximum, if I increase the temperature, they will die. Okay, minimum also, the lowest temperature up to which the organism can survive, below which they will die. So every organism has optimum temperature, that is the maximum growth is achieved at the best temperature for them to grow. Minimum, that is the least temperature below which if I decrease they will die. Maximum, that is the highest temperature till where they can survive. They may not grow, they may not multiply at this temperature, but they can survive. But if I increase more than maximum, then the organisms will die. Then based on the temperature, the organisms are classified as psychrophiles, mesophiles, thermophiles and hyperthermophiles. Based on the temperature requirements, the organisms are classified as psychrophiles, mesophiles, thermophiles and hyperthermophiles. Let us see each one in detail. Psychrophiles. Now what are these psychrophiles? Psychrophiles are also called as cold loving organisms. They can ask you in exam, what are cold loving organisms? They are psychrophiles. Okay, now here the temperature, the range is 0 to 15 degree centigrade, wherein 0 being minimum, 15 being maximum. The optimum is 15 degree centigrade, that is 15 is the temperature at which they grow best. Example is Flavobacterium, Pseudomonas antarctica and Listeria. Okay, and Listeria is one of the pathogen which is a which cause zoonotic infection, that is from the animals to the human beings. Listeriosis it causes. There are another group of organisms who are called as psychrotolerant. Now what do you mean by psychrotolerant? They are the organisms whose minimum temperature is 0, okay, and optimum is 15. they can still survive, whose maximum is 20 degrees centigrade. So those organisms are called as psychrotolerant. Moving on to the next set of the organism, that is mesophiles. These are the organisms whose temperature range is 20 to 40 degrees centigrade and optimum being 37. Now all these organisms are come under the pathogens. Most of the pathogens come under this category because 37 is your body temperature, and the pathogens love to survive in human body. So this is the these are the organisms. Pathogens come under this category. Example: E. coli, Streptococcus pneumoniae, etc. Moving on to the next set of organisms, that is thermophiles. Thermo, from the name itself, heat. They are more towards the heat. Okay. Thermotia means heat, phyla means love. I mean, they like to survive at hotter conditions. So where are they present? Generally in the sediments where the volcanic eruptions happen, and after the volcanic eruptions the lava will sediment out. So there these organisms are could be present. The range is around 40 to 80 degrees centigrade and the optimum being 45 degree centigrade. Example: Thermus aquaticus, Geogema barossi. So these are the examples of thermophiles. Moving on to the next set of organisms, that is hyperthermophiles. Hyper, thermo means heat loving, hyper means very high. So these are the organisms. From the name itself we can understand that these are the organisms who like to survive at very high temperatures. So there is no maximum here, because the temperature, any temperature above 80 degrees centigrade, they come under these hyperthermophiles category. Where are they generally present? Hydrothermal vents. Pyrolobus fumari. This is the example of the organism which is coming under hyperthermophiles. Moving on to the pH, the next parameter, physical parameter, pH. What is pH? pH is the negative logarithm of hydrogen ion concentration. In other words, it is the activity of the hydrogen ions that is present in a given solution. Okay. If there is a change, every organism have a specific pH. Same like your temperature, there is minimum. Every organism has something called as a minimum pH, maximum and optimum pH. If there is variations in the pH, it can alter the plasma membrane. It can affect the plasma membrane. It could get deteriorated. There could be pores present. It could disrupt the plasma membrane or the cell membrane. So based on pH, what are the classifications? Acidophiles, alkalophiles and neutrophiles. So acidophiles, here the range is between 0 to 5.5, optimum being 4, pH 4. Now all the fungi comes under this category. You can give example of Rhizopus, Mucor, Penicillium. All these organisms you can give the example, or any example that I have mentioned here, that is Thiobacillus, Thiooxidans also you can give. Where you can find these organisms? Generally in metal mining, in the stomach of animals. Generally your stomach, because of the presence of acidic environment, because there is HCl present, pH is 3, it does not allow any organisms to survive. But these organisms, because they like to survive in acidic conditions, they can still cause infection in your stomach. Basophiles, the next set of organism wherein the pH range is 7.5 to 14 and the optimum pH is 8. These organisms are generally found in places where there is high alkaline conditions. Example, in the sea you can find, very good example is Vibrio cholerae, likes to survive in high alkaline conditions, and which causes cholera. Another example is Thermococcus alkalophilus. This also you can mention. The next classification under pH is neutrophiles. Neutrophiles, as the name says, it's neutral. They like to survive in neutral pH. Most of the bacteria come under this category. Generally, most of the bacteria come under this category. Your range, the pH range is 5 to 5.5 to 8 and the optimum being 7. Now, as I told you, most of the bacteria come under this category. Example being E. coli, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, most of the pathogens, because your body pH is suitable for the organisms, these kind of pathogens. That's how pathogens enter into your body. Next, based on the oxygen. Now, organisms require oxygen for their survival. They take in oxygen, carry out their various metabolic activities in order so that they release out energy. Most of the organisms, they require oxygen. Some organisms, they would like to survive in the absence of oxygen. I would say that they would like to survive in the presence of carbon dioxide. Okay, they take in carbon dioxide and ultimately give rise to carry out various reactions and give rise to energy. So based on the requirement, whether they want oxygen or they do not want oxygen, but based on the oxygen requirement, we can classify the organisms as aerobic organisms and anaerobic organisms. Anaerobic organisms again be further classified as obligate anaerobes, facultative anaerobes. Apart from this, there are aerotolerant organisms and microaerophiles. Now, what do you mean by aerobic? Now let's see the next picture and then let's try to get the explanation. Now if you see here, in this picture it shows there is a test tube in which media is taken which will suit the growth of the bacteria. And if you consider, the tube is a very long tube and which the media is also filled in a long distance. If you consider this tube and the media here, the amount of oxygen that is present at the periphery of the media is higher. As you go lower and lower, the amount of oxygen starts depleting, and below there is very less or no oxygen present. Okay, so based on the presence or the growth of the organisms, we can study as to what kind of organisms they are. Okay, now what do you mean by aerobes? Aerobic or aerobes or obligate aerobes means the same. Now if the organisms are growing on top of the media, at the periphery of the media, which means the amount of oxygen is highest in the periphery, which means these organisms require oxygen for their survival. Without oxygen they cannot survive. So those organisms who strictly wants oxygen, they are called as obligate aerobes or aerobes. The next kind of organisms that we have seen is obligate anaerobes, can further divided as obligate anaerobes and facultative anaerobes. Obligate anaerobes. Now if you see in this test tube, the organisms that are growing just at the base, which means these organisms are strict anaerobes. They do not grow, they cannot grow in the presence of oxygen. Okay, so they are called as obligate anaerobes. They are also called as strict anaerobes. So example for this obligate anaerobes would be Clostridium. Sorry, I forgot to mention the example for obligate aerobes or aerobes. It could be Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Aerobes, Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Obligate anaerobes, it could be Clostridium. Moving on to the next kind of anaerobes, that is facultative anaerobes. Facultative anaerobes, if you find here, these are the organisms, majority of the organisms are growing towards the periphery, and some of the organisms are growing at the base, in the center and towards the base, which means these organisms likes to survive in the presence of oxygen. But if there is no oxygen, still they can survive, or there is less oxygen, they can still survive. So those are called as facultative anaerobes. Basically they are aerobic in nature, but if there is no oxygen given also, they can still survive, or less oxygen given, they can still survive. So those are called as facultative anaerobes. Example is E. coli. Facultative anaerobe example is E. coli. Moving on to the next set of organisms, that is aerotolerant anaerobes. What are aerotolerant anaerobes? Aerotolerant meaning, see, if you see the growth throughout the media, there is growth of organism. That means these organisms can tolerate. They are anaerobic in nature, but oxygen given also they can survive, carbon dioxide given still they can survive. Uniform distribution of organism, they can survive in the presence of oxygen or in the absence of oxygen. So they are called as aerotolerant. Example for that is Campylobacter jejuni. Campylobacter jejuni. Camphylobacer. Campylobacter jejuni. In my next slide, I have given you the examples. I have shown the with the spellings. Moving on to the next set, that is microaerophiles. If you see this, the organisms are not growing at the periphery, nor they are growing at the base. Okay, so they are growing little away from the periphery. Now what does this signify? These are the organisms who wants oxygen for growth, but the percentage of oxygen is required in very trace amounts. Generally 21 to 23% of oxygen is generally required by the microorganisms, but these require 2% oxygen they want, but the amount of oxygen that they want is very less in trace amounts, that is around 2 to 3% of oxygen they require. Some of them say may be around 8 to 10%, very less amount of oxygen they require. So those organisms who require very less amount of oxygen, they are called as microaerophiles. Example for that is Helicobacter pylori. Helicobacter pylori. So these are the examples. Helicobacter, E. coli, all these examples are mentioned. You can take a note of it. Thank you, students.